everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes to try to clarify a few of the concepts from the content for the reading and the assignments for this week. As you can see, this is completely informal. This is not how I would normally dress for a face-to-face class, but it's Saturday evening. My kids are downstairs. I haven't been getting very much sleep since my kiddo broke his leg. That's kind of consuming our lives right now. So anyway, here I am in a sweatshirt, and I'm ready to just kind of hopefully help explain a few things. The first thing I noticed was independent and dependent variables. That was brought up in the team article critique from last week, and I wanted to try to provide just a couple of examples to help explain and clarify what those are and help you identify what those would be. So the independent variable in a study is the variable, or it is the thing that the researcher can manipulate within the study. It's typically something, some kind of treatment or something that is given to some of the participants in the study in order to elicit a certain outcome. So the independent variable is what the researcher can manipulate and use in the study. The dependent variable is that outcome, that measurable outcome. The dependent variable is what's measured at the end. So for an example, let's say we were meeting face-to-face in class, and there were 20 students, and we were going to take a quiz. And I randomly assigned 10 students to a group that was going to consume an energy drink right before the quiz, and the other 10 students would be in the control group, and they would not receive the treatment. And in the my hypothesis would be that the test scores for the group that drank the energy drink would be higher than the test scores of the group that did not have the energy drink. Silly example, I know, but I'm trying to keep it simple. So the independent variable in the study would be that energy drink. That's what I'm manipulating. That's what I'm inserting into my study. And the dependent variable would be then the test scores at the end. That's what's being measured. So hopefully that can help clarify just what those terms mean. And I'm also going to attach a document, just a simple Word document with some concepts and kind of terms and their definitions. So I'll be putting that in this week's Moodle. And I'm also going to include actually my week 5 PowerPoint slides. I'm going to stick those in this week. I will do that this evening because I think that in week 5, I typically go over inferential statistics a little more than what's already been covered so far, but I know that that's being addressed in the discussion question this week. So as far as that goes, our descriptive statistics do just that. They describe things about the participants, about the results in a study. So I'm going to go ahead and use the article about the suicide prevention program as an example. So and I don't have it in front of me, but when you're reading through a study like that, that has, it has methods described, you have a group of participants, you have some kind of survey or questionnaire or experiment that was performed, and then you have the results section discussed. Sometimes it is helpful to look at the chart and just glean from there. Different people learn differently. Sometimes reading through the discussion helps me the best to kind of understand those results. But when we're talking about the statistics part of it, first of all, I want to encourage you not to get stuck in the weeds of reading these research articles. There's a lot of technical jargon in there, and I don't want that to feel discouraging. But I'm going to break down a few of the things to hopefully help you just be able to understand and analyze the research articles that you're reading and using for your assignments a little bit better. So descriptive statistics describe things about your sample and about the results. So when we're talking about things like mean, median, and mode, the mean is the average. So an average, say, survey score or something like that, or the number of participants, and then, even broken down demographically. Those are descriptive statistics. When we get into inferential statistics, what we're doing is we're trying to take the results of that study and infer those results to the larger population. That's where we get into the idea of generalizability. So did this do these results from this study, can we take those and generalize them to a larger public? Can we say that this suicide prevention program has statistically significant results that we could say, hey, this could be helpful and beneficial to all high schools across the U.S., for example? So when we're doing that, that's when researchers are doing different kinds of comparison type tests. Pre-test, post-test is a good design. You'll see things like a t-test. There's other things that are escaping my brain right now, but I do go over some of those in those slides I was mentioning. So the idea is, is the sample size and the sample set representative enough of the larger population that we can say we could generalize these results? Also, another really important thing is the probability that the results were due to the treatment or that independent variable, not due to chance. So that's when you'll see like the P scores, P less than 0.01, something like that. Those are statistics that are indicating that that it was the treatment that caused the result at the end and not just random chance. And so those are other tests that researchers do to try to show that, yes, it was the treatment. So again, in that particular article, then the independent variable could be that program. If let's say you had, you measured pre-test, post-test with two separate groups of students, and then one group did receive that training, so the suicide and depression prevention program, and the other group did not. That would be the independent variable, because that's what's being manipulated in that study. And then the results would be their scores at the end. Did it reduce, suicidology? Did it reduce, or suicidal ideation? Did the scores, were the scores raised as far as self-efficacy and feeling like they had skills that they could put in place if they did feel depressed or had a friend who was depressed? Now I feel like I'm getting too wordy, so I hope that this is going to be helpful and not a hindrance. There was one other thing I wanted to go over. So probability. I forget what it was. But okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a couple more files for this week's course, and then I'm also going to attach a link in the discussion post to a website for you to just peruse on your own that has a lot more information about tests that researchers use and inferential statistics and things like that. And also, please feel free to reach out to me via email, text, phone call, anything if you need any help. Okay, and I look forward to seeing the rest of your responses on this week's discussion post. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.